Going on, man? It's your big brother K-Rino, K-Rino, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself, man, because I'm on time tonight. I showed up on time. I set a time. I said I was gonna do it, and I did it. Pat myself on the back. But had to backdoor y'all with another one because we did open topic last night. But I always want to make sure that I come with a topic, at least once throughout the week because my goal is to help us become better as people. And one of the ways that we can do that is to put out topics and scenarios that we all go through or that I went through, and maybe somebody else can be helped by it. And that will make us better, man. That'll make us better. So that's always my goal. So here we are. And y'all see the title. The title is Are You Your Biggest Obstacle? And we'll go into that because I think that is a question that all of us have to ask ourselves as we work through life, as we go through life and try to be better at life. And when you hit those little bumps in the road, when we bump our heads from time to time, um, we refer to those things as obstacles. Well, I hit a little obstacle. I hit a little bump. Uh, had a setback. Those are the kinds of words that we use when we take a misstep. And usually, we kind of attribute it to, we kind of just chalk it up to just something happened, somebody did something, or somebody caused it and made it possible for me to not get to that next level, whatever. But we rarely ask the question, what was my role in that setback? What was my role in my setback? What was my role in that obstacle? Did I create the obstacle for myself? And have I established a pattern within myself that has literally caused me to become the obstacle? And that's what we're going to deal with tonight. And it's going to go into certain um, characteristics that we as people display that contribute to us being our own biggest obstacle. And the majority of them are not physical acts. The majority of them are from a mental capacity, from a mental standpoint, just things that operate in our own mind. Because as we know, nothing takes place without a thought being the initial thing. So we'll go into that. Y'all hit the like button as y'all come in. Click that like button for your big brother as you come in. If you do it now, you ain't got to hear me running my mouth about it periodically throughout the stream, and we can get right into it because I think that if you did a poll and asked everybody what their goal in life is, and I'm not talking about specifically stating what it is that they want to do or what it is they want to be. I'm saying I think that everybody, if asked, would agree and say that they would just like to be successful in whatever it is they're striving to be. Just, hey man, I just want to succeed in whatever it is that I'm going after. To succeed, to be successful. But the saying goes, anything worth having is worth working for. There are other sayings that speak to the principle of if you if it's worth having, then typically it's not going to be easy to obtain. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be difficulty and trials and tribulations when you're trying to get it. So, with that being said, the mind plays the biggest role in terms of getting you to your goal. The mind plays the biggest role in terms of getting you to your goal. I'm a poet and I did not even know it. So, when you think about a football team, a basketball team, and it's a big game coming up, what happens the week before that game, that entire week is spent by the coaching staff and by the team itself in preparation for that game. They are preparing to take on an opponent. They are preparing to do things that will put them in a position to be successful in reaching that goal. So they will watch film of the other team. They'll study film of the other team. They'll see what the other team likes to do and what they don't like to do and all this. They'll watch film and they will go over plays. They'll practice. They'll go through the motions. They'll go over scenarios that may take place in the game, and they'll discuss the game plan. They'll do all those things. But the one thing that teams also do and place a lot of emphasis on, despite the fact that you do all the things that I just mentioned, they speak about mindset. They speak about mental approach to this game. We have to come into this game with the right mental approach, the right mentality. When you talk about the will to win, when you talk about the spirit and the energy to win, when you talk about having the fight in you to win, all of those things are mental aspects, because you can prepare physically for the game all you want. You can run those plays until you know them in your sleep. But when you step on the field, if your mind and your head is not in the right place to execute, and having the belief that your work will pay off and trusting in the work that you've done, that's all mental. If you don't have that, you don't have a shot. So the mindset of overcoming obstacles and reaching your goal, that has to be the first thing that has to be developed. Even more so, what I won't say is the first thing, but it's one of the, it's in the top two things that need to be developed. The talent itself, the skill itself, the gift itself is the first thing. But a lot of times that's already in you. But that will and that spirit, that will be the fuel that will power your gift, that's just as important or more important. How many talented people have y'all known that wasted it because they didn't have the mindset? And you were more upset at them for not pushing their talent and pushing their goal. You was more upset at them than they was for not doing it. It meant more to you than it meant to them. They really didn't care. Like, oh, man. And you tell them, man, you got a chance, man. Man, you could do this, you could do that, man. Boy, you got talent, bro. You can make it, man. And they like, oh, man. They just don't have that will. They don't have that passion, that mindset. And then you have some that will claim that they do want it. Yeah, man, I want it, man. This is what I want to do, man. You know, they say that. And they'll trick you because you like, okay, well, if you want it, man, I'll help you, man. I'll show you what to do. I'll plug you in. I'll put you in with people and put you in positions, and then you do that, and you find out that they don't have the work ethic. They're lazy. They don't want to go through nothing to get to something. And now you look like, oh man, I'm just wasting my time with this person because they say you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. And no matter what you do, no matter how well you position a person to succeed, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to them to push themselves over the top. It's only so much you can do. It's only so much teaching, training, screaming, cussing, motivating, pushing. It's only so much of that you can do if the person does not have it in them to get it done. So, what are some of the obstacles that we place in front of ourselves? I ain't talking about what somebody else did. Somebody hated on you, so you ain't get the job, or somebody did this. I'm talking about you, because that in itself is one of the obstacles that I'm gonna mention, and that is blaming others, placing the blame on other people for our shortcomings and failures. And even if what you say may be true, even if there is somebody who might have done something to keep you out of a position and knock you out the box in some kind of way, that still is not something that should stop you from continuing on to push for your goal or stop you from getting there eventually. You ever been driving and all of a sudden you thought you knew where you was going, but you didn't really know where you was going, so you turn down the street. You think that street gonna take you back to the main street, and then you look up, oh, that's a dead end. Well, when you get to the dead end, you don't just sit there. You turn around and you find a different way. So that's what we have to do in life. You have to find a different way to get where you're trying to get, and not whine and cry about the fact that, this is a roadblock, right? This is a dead end right there, man. Oh no, man, I got nope. Just put that boy in reverse, turn around, and go back and find a different way. The blame game can become repetitive. It can become a part of your personality if you choose to use that as a go-to every time something goes wrong for you, because it's a cop out. It's an easy way to just take pressure off of yourself and seek sympathy from outside sources just by saying, well, man, I could have did it. He wouldn't have did this, or she wouldn't have said that, and he never did like me. And so now you start to develop a pattern of it's always somebody's fault. Always somebody's fault. So the blame game itself is an obstacle that we use and that we carry. And it's an excuse. Making excuses is the other component to that. We tend to be lacking in our effort to do it. Picture somebody that say they want to work out. Man, I gotta get in shape. Baby girl say I want to lose some weight. Okay, well, let's work out. So you get a plan going, but every time it's time to work out, you have a different excuse, some type of excuse as to why you can't do it today. Or if you start doing it, you have an excuse as to why you can't go as hard as you should go. Oh man, I can't really do these. It's my leg tight. Your leg's supposed to hurt. No pain, no gain. You're trying to get in shape. You want to get in shape comfortably. Nothing that ever comes into existence that represents something great and good is done comfortably. You can't do it comfortably. You are standing on this planet Earth, living, walking, breathing, doing backflips, working jobs, getting married. Whatever it is that you're doing, you are doing it because you were born into this world as a little baby child, and you came into existence through an uncomfortable method. Birth is not comfortable for the mother or the child. It's very difficult. It's very strenuous. It's very stressful. It's painful. But once you come out, once you arrive, here I am. And the goal has been accomplished. And now you look around and you marvel in the greatness. Wow. When you see a couple give birth to a child, and through all the hollering and screaming and push and the man holding her hand, and he's stressed out, he worried, he nervous, and she's hurting, and everybody's chaos. Then when the baby is born, you see everybody sitting there holding the baby, everybody smiling, and mama smiling. She laid out sweating, but she's happy. She can't wait to hold the baby and all, because the 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 joy and the exhilaration and the happiness comes after the struggle, because you went through the struggle and now you succeeded in what it was you were trying to get accomplished. So anything else in life carries those same principles. So we have to stop expecting or even hoping that it's going to be easy. Would we like to just say, hey, man, I want to be a lawyer? And then all of a sudden, this bing, I can just go downtown and, hey, man, I want to be a lawyer. Oh, you want to be a lawyer? Yeah, let me see ID. Okay, sign right here. Here's some paper. You're a lawyer. You'd like for it to be that easy, but it's not. You got to study. Got to go to school for years and years. You got to learn the nuances of law and all of the different aspects of it. You got to pass the bar exam. You got to work under people to learn. You got to know different cases. You got to, it's a lot. So there's a course of action that you have to take. There's a course of training that you have to take that's not easy to do. But when you get it, and not just being a lawyer and anything, you went to school for whatever, and it was hard, man. You stay up all night, about to pass out, fall asleep, years and years. But then when you walk across that stage, man, you get that degree and that whatever, and you walk across, and you just like, because you know what you went through. You overcame all of the obstacles, some that you knew were gonna come, others that you had no idea was gonna come. You didn't even see this coming. It's like, oh man, there might have been situations where something came out of left field and hit you, and you didn't think you was gonna be able to make it. It's like, man, I'm gonna have to drop out, man. I'm gonna have to drop out. I can't do it, man. It seemed like you wasn't gonna get there. but somehow you did. And when you did get there, you look back at all of the tough spots that you made it through, the times where it didn't seem like you think about all that. It's not always so much about, okay, I got it now, and now I'm looking to my future. Yeah, of course you're doing that, but the real joy, and when you see people crying and just, oh, man, they're not always crying because they know what lies ahead. That crying and that comes out because of what they went through. They're like, "Whoo, man, this was hard." But after you've done it, after you faced the difficulty and then you overcame it, what that did was that added another foundational strong piece and block to your character moving forward. It added another block. You have now, your fortress has now been strengthened. Whereas on the flip side, had you not fought through those tough parts and just gave up or allowed yourself to be defeated, now a piece of your character has been taken. You lost a block. You lost a piece. And it snatched the shingle off your roof. You were not as strong as you was. You've been weakened by your own defeatist mentality and your lack of willingness to push through the wall and to jump over the hurdle. So we are at a fork in the road where we have the choice to either, you see what's in front of you, man, this would be hard. So I can say, okay, man, you know what? I'm gonna go on, just run through it. Or I can see it and it's gonna look like, yeah, that's kind of tough. And I can just turn around and go back. Mom, I can't do it. I'm sorry, Mom, I can't. Mom, I want to come home. How many times have young people done that? And you say, I want to go to this school to do this and da 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 da. I want to go to this place and do that. And your parents say, hey, okay, we're gonna say, okay, that's cool. That's what you want to do. We're gonna send y'all. You call back, Mom, I want to come home. It's just, man, they tripping up here. And one parent is gonna say, well, son, all right, come on, all right. That's how they doing you. Come on home. Come on home. You know, mama love you. We'll figure something out. And that's cool. But I like them parents that go, hey, well, you ain't coming home. Just what you said you wanted to do. I believe you can do it. You said you believed you can do it. No, you're not coming home. You stand up there. Figure it out. Tough it out. I saw an interview with the great legendary heavyweight boxer Ken Norton. And some of y'all might be young. Y'all might not know who Ken Norton is, but he fought back when Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and all them was fighting back in the 70s. And Ken Norton told the story just like what I just said. He said when he was young, he went away, moved away, and he didn't have any money. Things wasn't going the way he wanted them to go, and he didn't have no money. Didn't know what he was going to do. And he called his dad and was like, Dad, I want to come home. And his daddy was like, nah, man, I can't let you come home, man. Figure it out, son. And he got off the phone and he figured it out. And that made a man out of him, because he would have lost a part of himself if he just, because now every time I get in a situation, I can just call and say I want to come home. I can just say I can't do it. I want to come home. And are there situations where you might have to come home? Yeah, of course. I'm not saying every time or every situation is the same where don't never let your son or daughter punk out and come home. No, I'm not saying that, because there are times where, based on what's going on, you gotta say, okay, yeah, well, yeah, come on back, son. Come on back, daughter. But in those certain moments where it's like, nah, we read and assess the situation, it's like, nah, it ain't that bad. You just being weak right now. You ain't coming home. That's what I'm talking about. So some of the obstacles that we impose on ourselves, that self-doubt, where you got the talent and the skills to do it, but it's something in you that makes you not believe in yourself. Everybody else see it. Everybody else looking at you like, man, boy, you cold. Girl, you got it. You doing your thing. I ain't never seen nobody as talented as you. You cold. But in your own mind, you just don't believe in yourself for some reason. You just had this doubt. I don't know. I don't think I can. I don't think I can do it. Why not? What happened that made you feel like you couldn't do it? So self-doubt is an obstacle, a self-imposed obstacle. You may have had one situation. You got up there one day, you wanted to rap, and you got up there and the people started booing. But if we don't learn to assess and figure out why something happened, then we'll forever be caught up and tricked or possibly fooled by what happened. And what do I mean by that? You got on the stage to perform and the crowd started booing. People in the crowd started booing. They weren't paying no attention and this and that. And you come off stage like, man, I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was, man. I suck. But you know your performance, you know your material. You've been in other circles of people like, man, nah, you got some good material, man. And they ain't sugarcoating and blowing no smoke. You performed in other places and did good with that same material. So they didn't receive you tonight, and you find out later, oh, they knew how good you was. Somebody knew how good you was, and they set it up for you to get booed that night. I'm just making a hypothetical situation. So at that point, it becomes not about what happened, which was you got booed. It becomes, why did I get booed that night? Why? What happened? Oh, okay, I see. They was hating, or if that's the case. Now, if you was whacked that night, I ain't nothing I can do about it. But focus on why more so than what. And I think that will help us get past the tough spots. Because we always deal with what happened. Man, they tripped out, man. Oh, man. Oh, why? Why did they say that? Why did she do this? And why can tell you a lot about what. Why comes before the what? What you mean, why comes before the what? Why comes before what? Meaning that the thought, the motive to do something precedes what a person actually does. You got to have the motive and think about why you're going to do it before you do it. I'm gonna let me think of something real good. She's when she wins this beauty pageant, or when she's a model, when she walks down the runway, I'm gonna slick up. I'm gonna be already put something slick on the runway so she can fall when she comes down the runway. Why? Because I'm envious. I hope she fall and mess her pretty face up because I ain't pretty like her. That's the motive that comes before the action. Then they carry out the action. I want to know why. Because why will tell me about the what. Another obstacle that we face is repeated mistakes, never learning and adjusting mistakes. So it's cool to make a mistake. It's all right to slip up and okay, well, and I did that wrong. Okay, back to the drawing board. But the continuous repetitive act of doing the same dumb thing over and over again becomes an obstacle for you because you are not making an adjustment that will fix the problem that you keep having that restricts you and prevents you from getting to the next level. So I'm playing defense on this guy. And every time I'm faced up with this guy playing defense, he hits me with the same move. Looks up in the sky, hits me with the same move, and lays it up with the line. Okay, he got me. Then I jump back on him, he do the same thing again. Then I jump back on him, he do the same thing again. 10 more times. I'm not making any adjustment to try to stop him from doing this same move on me. That's my fault. I have to say, okay, well, what is he doing? Why is this not working for me? Let me study this. Let me look at him carefully when he does this. Okay, he does this, and he does that. Then he looks up. And when he looks up, I look up. And then he goes, okay, I need to stop looking up when he looks up. I keep my eye on him, and I know he goes that way. I can jump. You figure it out. So we make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And we sit around scratching our head wondering why it keeps happening. Because you're not making an adjustment. That's what a coach does. We losing at halftime. The coach gonna come in at halftime and he's gonna start drawing up stuff, and at least he should. A good coach, okay, this is what they're doing. We're gonna switch into this. We're gonna do this. Okay, they're doing this. Okay, we're going to a zone. We'll do. You make adjustments in order to stop whatever's happening from happening to you. If you keep repeating those same mistakes, then that's another self-imposed obstacle that you're placing on yourself. But the only way to correct a mistake is to recognize your mistake. If you don't even know what you're doing wrong, you better not become a scientist that likes to do experiments in labs, because you're going to blow your fool self up. You have to figure out what it is that you're doing wrong in order to correct it. And for some, that's the hard part, because that leads me to the next obstacle that we have within us, and that's stubbornness, hard-headedness. If I'm hard-headed, if I'm stubborn, can't nobody tell me nothing. I'm always right. even when I'm wrong, then that makes it very difficult for me to correct my mess ups and fix my mess ups because I don't even feel like I'm messing up. I don't even feel like, I mean, y'all don't understand. I'm gonna get it. Let me just keep on doing it. You ever seen somebody that was trying to fix something and they didn't know what they was doing while they was trying to fix it, and they were just steady making it worse? And there's somebody over them going, "Are you sure you're supposed to put that screw right there? You sure that goes like that? I don't think that pipe is supposed to be. Hey man, watch out, man. Let me do it. I know what I'm doing." Then they do it wrong. Can't tell them nothing. You go, all right. They fix it on a car. It's like, hey man, I don't know if that goes. See, that wire wouldn't like that when we first opened the hood. Hey man, watch out. All right. You have a stubbornness and an arrogance about yourself where you don't think that you're wrong. And nobody can tell you. Nobody can even correct you or guide you and assist you. That's one of the worst traits to have, because if you are doing something that other people are dependent on in terms of it being right, being done right, now you put a lot of other people in a bad spot. If you just messing yourself up, hey, you feel free, have at it. But if nobody can tell you nothing, then that stubbornness leads to repetitive behavior patterns of failure, because you can't humble yourself to say, yeah, man, you know what? I did try this. I done tried to do this 5 times, bro. I don't know what's going on. Can you help me out? Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. For Shutter Entertainment, man, I appreciate the love. That's right. Break the pattern. And everything that I'm saying, y'all, is based on internal. It has nothing to do with nobody outside of this. Everything I'm naming is you and me, our own obstacles, self-created obstacles, right? Another one is laziness. Being lazy. You got all the tools, man, all the tools to accomplish something, to be something. But you just want to sit around all day. You want to smoke weed all day. Watch TV all day. Mess around on your phone all day. You don't want to do nothing. You have no drive in you. But you steady claim out of your mouth that you want something big out of life. You're lazy. Because what happens with all of us, when there's something that we want to do, and we have the ability to do it, or even if we set it in motion to do it, it's something internal that wakes us up at some moment throughout the day and say, hey man, ain't it about time for you to get up and get on your grind? And you're like, yeah, I'm finna get up. Okay, man. Well, this is the inner voice. All right, well, bro. Hey, well, look, hey, let's get it, man. You said we was gonna put it in motion, man. Let's get it. Yeah, I'm gonna get up. I wanted to see who won this game real quick. When that go off, I'm gonna get on it. Game go off. All right, man. The game off, man. You said we're gonna get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, okay. Let me go eat first. I'm gonna give me something to eat first. I don't want to work on an empty stomach. Let me go in here and whip me up something real quick. Go in there and eat. Then what you gonna do after you eat? Let me lay down for a minute, man. Let this food settle. And then every day, this becomes repetitive. You get started. You get, oh, who is this? Who is this calling me? Who is this texting me? Oh, it's baby girl. Let me see what she talking about. You done lost another hour. And these are things that we should be doing for ourselves. These are things that we should be motivated to build for ourselves. But yet we cheat ourselves because we won't display the necessary discipline to get to work. But when it's time to get up and go clock in for somebody else, oh, you make sure you get up on. You set that alarm. That alarm go off. Get up. Hit that traffic. Still be dark outside. You on your way. You get there 30 minutes early. You clock in and you give them all you got for 8 hours. You wake up tomorrow and you do the same thing again. Same thing again. Why won't you exercise that same type of mindset for yourself? Why won't you do that? Because you don't value yourself the same way you value somebody else's job that's paying you some little crumbs here and there and might let you go at any moment. Why don't you put that kind of energy into your own dream? Why be lazy with yourself, but you ain't lazy with them? Because you know they're not going to allow you to be lazy. And you feel the pressure. See? But why not take on the mind of, I'm not going to allow me to be lazy for me. I'm my CEO. I'm my boss. I will punish myself. I'm punishing myself if I'm being lazy. By being lazy, I'm punishing myself. So that's another obstacle. Then one of the biggest ones, because I ain't going to hold y'all long, but one of the biggest ones is fear. You scared. Man, I ain't scared. Yes, you are. You're scared. Because there are things that you have to do that we go back to that comfort zone and it take you out of that comfort zone in order to be successful. There's things that you got to do that you ain't used to doing, and that scares the hell out of you. Oh man, I got to do that. And I ain't talking about nothing weird or nothing crazy. I'm talking about, hey man, you might have to travel out of town and do this and do that and step out on faith and oh man, I can't do that. You may have to invest in yourself and spend some of your own money. Oh no, I can't take that chance, man. I got bills coming up. You don't believe in yourself. I'm not saying be foolish and with your money and go spend your rent money and but sometimes some people do this. Some people like, man, I got to put it all on black. I got to risk it all because they betting on themselves. They believe in themselves. And people outside of them might not even understand. You might be married and boy, you scaring the hell out your wife because you keep on hustling with the mortgage every month. You gambling with the rent money every month to try to, I gotta put this money into this. One of my favorite movies of all time is a movie that Will Smith played in called The Pursuit of Happiness. If you ever seen that movie, just give me a yes. If you ever saw Will Smith's movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, just give me a yes. Okay? In that movie, for those who haven't seen it, that's your homework assignment. Go watch that movie. Because what I got out of that movie and what I get out of it every time I watch it, I see a person who had unshakable belief in his plan, in his dream, in his strategy, in his scheme. He had an unshakable belief in it to the point that no matter what he went through, no matter how low he fell, his mind was like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. And his wife left him. His wife was like, man, you still on this old silly stuff, man. I got time for this. Wife left him. He was still on it. Became homeless. He was still on it. He was dragging his son around with him while he was homeless, living in shelters and sleeping in bathrooms and stuff, and was still unshakable. Finally got a break. I ain't gonna get a movie away for those who didn't see it, but finally got a break. And all it took was that one break for him to elevate and raise up. But the people around you don't always understand what you're trying to do. But if your belief and your faith in what you're trying to do is unshakable, you're going to keep going. See? So another lesson in that, you got to surround yourself with people who are not going to try to shoot you down when your dream is taking a little bit longer to develop for them. Because people talk a good game in the beginning. And I'm talking females and males. Because you have something in your mind that you want to do, and you telling your partner, well, baby, this is my dream. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And in the beginning, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm with you. I support you. Then all of a sudden, it ain't happening so fast. It's taking a little too long. You know, money coming in is a little hard. But they see you grinding. You ain't being lazy. You ain't being negligent. You ain't just talking. You working it. It's just not happening overnight. And they decide, hey, I can't do it no more, man. I'm gone. Or they come at you from this angle. Well, baby, man, maybe it's time to start thinking about trying something else. I mean, you've been working on that for 5 years now. I mean, you did your best. Maybe it's time. Now I'm looking at you different. I'm looking at you different. And I know what some of y'all might be thinking. You might be thinking, well, man, sometimes it ain't working. It is time to go do something different. There are moments where the plan it just wasn't a good plan. Yeah, of course. What's your plan? Man, look, I'm gonna open up a business selling see-through confetti. I'm gonna be the inventor of see-through confetti. So when it's a parade or something, and we've released the confetti, it's gonna be like it's nothing in the air. And you're sitting there like, I don't think that's a good idea, man. So sometimes it's a bad plan, but that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you dealing with somebody that you know that's a go-getter. They're smart, they determined, they motivated, and you believed in their plan in the beginning. Homeboy, when she first told you what her dream was, you were like, baby, I'll support you. I got you. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be right by your side. Then all of a sudden, you going in on her because it ain't happened yet. Well, man, you said you had a 2-year plan. It's been 3.5 years, and yeah, you said you believed in the beginning. Why you jumping ship now? It's hard enough to keep yourself motivated through all the setbacks, and then you dealing with a person who can't stand with you. And not only are they not standing with you through your setbacks, they letting you hear about it the whole time. Then they tell you how they really feel. See, I knew that. I knew from the beginning that wasn't gonna work. I knew. I just knew. My mama told me not to marry you. Oh, y'all are dropping more. So you got to deal with like-minded people, people who understand the struggle. The last thing is obstacle-wise, is a lack of knowledge. You haven't properly educated yourself on the field that you're taking on. And by not having that knowledge, you become limited in your ability to advance. So you have to grow. In order to grow your dream and to grow your result, you have to grow your knowledge. The more that your knowledge expands, the greater your chances expand of succeeding in what it is that you're doing. What stops you from acquiring the knowledge? And since kindergarten, I acquired the knowledge. And after 12th grade, I went straight to college. What stops you from acquiring the knowledge? Go look in the mirror, you'll see the person who's stopping you from acquiring the knowledge. It's you. Ain't nothing preventing you from learning what you need to learn. Talk to people, drawing and pulling from other people's experiences and successes and failures and all that. It goes back to being lazy. Just won't do it. It goes back to being arrogant, thinking you know everything already. There's not one field in existence. I don't care how much knowledge and information that you have on it, there's not one field that any one individual can lay claim to having perfected, because everything evolves. Technology evolves, the nuances of the game evolve. There are certain fundamental principles that never die that you can live off of. But even within certain fundamental principles, there's evolution even within that. Y'all ain't hear me, man. Hit the like button if you haven't already. You may have just came in. There's evolution on all levels. So if you are not evolving, then things are moving and you're not perceiving the movement of those things. So in your mind, you are delusional. You're thinking that I'm still right there with it, but you're not. It's way down there. You're still right here. So humility has to come in to be able to say, hey man, I need people around me that can keep me up to speed. See what y'all talking about, man. See what y'all talking about. Get rid of this spam. Get rid of these spammers. I don't eat spam and I don't read spam. Ma'am. Let's see what y'all talking about on the subject, man. Trying to find somebody that's gonna drop some knowledge, man. Y'all be all off subject and stuff. Virtuous Viking says, "Don't wait for your friend to encourage or come with you. You can't wait on nobody, man. You would love for your friend, your family and friends to come with you. You would love that, but sometimes they don't understand your dream. It's not up to them. It's up to you. You got to get it done. Then you can double back and say, see, man, hey, this is what I was talking about." Then you go, oh, okay. I knew you could do it. Yeah, right. See? But Shutter Entertainment says, break the chains. Yep. Jimmy Robinson said, that's a slave mentality. Giving your all for a job, but nothing for yourself. That's right. And you give everything of yourself to that. You drain yourself. You give all of your work and your lifeblood to somebody else. You have nothing for yourself. We have to understand, y'all. You have to understand how fast time moves. I do this from time to time. I want to do it again if y'all don't mind. If y'all don't mind. To make a point when I'm talking about how fast time moves. If y'all don't mind dropping y'all ages in the chat. I'll start it off. There's my age. If y'all don't mind dropping y'all ages in the chat, I just want to try to make a quick point to see if we understand. Dustin says fear leads to hate, hate leads to pain, pain is why it'll be over. All that to me, fear leads to hate, hatred of self. Sarah, what you laughing at? I'm reading some old stuff. She laughed way back up there. Redfoot Zeph says, everything you say is futile. You are lost yourself, Kay. I'm trying to find myself, Red. I think we all are lost to some degree. The devil would deceive the whole world. So yeah, you're right. You're right, Red. I am a little lost. But there's a difference between being like super lost where you just somebody done kidnapped you, took you, dropped you off in the middle of the freaking rainforest somewhere and you don't have no idea. Or yeah, I'm lost, but I'm kind of coming into, I think I'm almost there. So to the second part of your comment, yeah, I might be a little lost, just like the rest of us. But everything I say is not futile. That is not true. You cannot impose possibly your own disappointments on other people. See? Got to find yourself too, sir. Let me get back to these ages, man. Hold on, I went too far. Okay, see, we got grown folks in here. 31, 34, 45, 45. Okay, Melanie Rich is a youngster. Okay, Unc. We say 22, Unc, I ain't nephew. But you reply to what I'm going to say still. Jimmy, 35, 34. I can't do the math on that 12,045 days. I can't do it. 31, 36, 32. Carlton Banks say he's 77. 45, 33, 43. See, we got grown folks in here. See, those numbers, when I see the numbers that I'm reading out, you know what those numbers represent to me? They represent individuals who have responsibilities in life. When you got them threes and fours in front of your, if your age starts with a 3 or a 4 and up, then I'm pretty confident in saying that y'all got some obligations and responsibilities. But my point to asking y'all that was to talk about time and how fast time moves while we don't perceive how fast the time moves. Because if I'm looking at Paul Malanga, 45 years old, I guarantee you, Paul, tell me if I'm lying, Paul, and any of the rest of y'all, Paul and all of y'all, I guarantee you that you can remember being in your 20s like it was yesterday. You can recall, and you have moments where you say, man, that time went by quick. I remember my 31st birthday party. I remember being in high school. Seemed like it was yesterday. Would y'all agree with that? So I'll wait If you agree with that, then that just bears witness to the point of time is not something that needs to be wasted. You can't waste your time. Because if the years from 25 to 45 seem to have gone like that, 45, you still young. 42, 36, you still young. That's a young man or young woman at 35 years old. But if 20 to 40 went like that, and you still young at 40, you got to be very careful, because from 40 to 60 will go like that. And the game changes a little bit when you're 60, 65, because you might not be moving as fast. You might not be thinking as sharp. You might not be as driven and motivated to get stuff done as you are now and as you were 20 years ago from now. So you can't play around. If it's in you to do it, do it. Get it done. Work. Because again, we'll start on a job, we'll start working in this world's corporations, we'll start working on their jobs as early as 15, 16 years old. You sacking groceries at the grocery store at 16. And you'll slowly work all the way up till you finally retire. So you done worked 50 years of your life for other people. And by the time it's time to retire, they give you a little pen. John, you've been at this company for 32 years. I'll tell you. Here's a pen. Here's a pen, John. This is for all your years of service. John and I like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. So now you retired, but you broke down. That ain't no quality of life. And I ain't saying that it's not something to, be proud of, man. You worked your way to retire, because a lot of smart, intelligent men and women have put their work in, retired. They have accomplished great things because of their time and work. They sent children to college because of their work. They paid off homes and property because of their work. They've established savings because of their work. So I ain't disrespecting that. I'm speaking to the thought of individuals who neglected their own dreams but gave all of themselves to something else. So don't go in there and cuss your boss out because you're misconstruing the context of what I'm saying. Because if you cuss your boss out, can't come live with me. I'm sorry. Man, you told me to quit my job. No, I didn't. All right. Drop y'all locations, man. I'm finna get out y'all way. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button like right now. Click like right now. Click like right now. CR Expert says, if you weren't lost, your journey would be over. See, that's deep. I was riding somewhere the other day and I got lost. I was mad. You know how when you lost, You're like, man, I'm lost. I don't know where am I at? Then when you finally get back in familiar ground, you're like, it's just a great feeling. But sometimes, y'all, we got to understand something, man. Sometimes people who are hurt and lost and disappointed in aspects of their own life, they try to project that on y'all. They'll try to project that on other people. So, again, it's a beautiful lesson. You got to look at not what, but why. It ain't what the guy said. It's like, why'd you say that? You have a disappointment. You have a sense of pain that you're dealing with. Because I would not personally, I wouldn't waste my time coming into the realm in the chat of somebody who I feel like their words are worthless and that they're lost. Why are you here? Looks kind of stupid to me, but y'all didn't hear that from me. Drop your locations, man. I see my boy CDL is up in this thing, man. Okay, real quick too, y'all. I'm gonna say this every day for the next 468 years. If you have not subscribed to my podcast, do so right now. I gotta do like a poll, man. I gotta do this. I hate to do this to y'all. I don't like to be like the preacher at church that always get me to say stuff. Look at your neighbor and say, I hate when preachers do that. Now grab your neighbor and tell him that, like, neighbor, tell your neighbor it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right, man. Okay, now look at your neighbor and say that I'm gonna make a way for myself. I'm gonna make a way for myself. I hate when preachers do that, man. I don't want to talk to this guy right now. I don't feel like talking to this guy. I ain't got nothing against him. I love this guy. But I don't know him. I don't feel like talking to him, man. Now grab your neighbor and say, neighbor, I know you've been through some things. I know you've been through some things, man. I don't know him. I don't know what he's been through. If you didn't know that I had a new podcast, raise your hand. I see y'all chiming in. We all over. We bling, bling, blinging. Dallas, Georgia, Salem, Memphis, Tennessee, 254, Waco, Bessemer, Alabama, Richmond, Virginia. Marie Thompson says, I know my best life is just beginning. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I know my best life is just beginning. I know my best life is just beginning. That's how I do it. When the preacher say, look at the neighbor and tell him something, I don't be having no enthusiasm. I don't be want to be rude and just not do it and look straight ahead. Look at your neighbor and say, I know my blessing is coming. I know my blessing is coming. The neighbor be looking at me like, I know my blessing. He don't want to say it either. Anaheim, Southeast, Skull and Bones. I see you. Hey, how you doing? Jimmy in Alabama. We are all one. Iowa, Scotland, UK. Where about in Scotland you at, Scotland? You in Glasgow? Glasgow, the only place I know. That's why I asked. Philadelphia up in this thing. Cleveland. All right. Baytown. I see you, Roberto. Is that, oh, the Netherlands. Okay. All right. Is that Mexia, Texas? Or Mexia, Texas? I don't know how you pronounce that. Helsinki, Finland. I see you, Ronnie. Salams, Bosnia. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I know you hate when the preacher do that. I know you hate when the preacher do that. But tell your neighbor I'm going to do it anyway. He going to do it anyway. Marie says, maybe you don't know where you're going. Doesn't mean that you're lost. What if your neighbor the reason you're in church? Then I can talk to him anytime then if that's the case. I just don't like for people to, I got to say this without coming off like a butthole, because that's not my intention. I don't like people to like push my thoughts like that. But see, because balance always comes to me when I start thinking about stuff like that. That something always clicks in my head that says, okay, check yourself. Because I don't like when the preacher do that, but I do shows. I might have the mic and say, everybody say, yeah. Y'all might not want to say yeah. You might, yeah. So I guess I got to look at me too. Put a fist in the air like that. You might not feel like putting your fist in the air at that moment. You're like, all right, man. How long I got to hold my fist? But I'm not going to never be at a show and say, okay, everybody in the crowd, I want you to look at your neighbor and say, hold on, that's a good idea. Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm getting something. I need everybody in the chat to look at your neighbor. Who is your neighbor in this chat? Whatever name is next to yours, when y'all look in this box, whatever the name is above or below you, that's your neighbor. I want you to look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go subscribe to K-Rino's podcast, the Underground Dialogue Podcast. Then I want you to look at your neighbor. I want you to say, neighbor. Oh, I'm moving slow. Go to southparkcoalition.net and purchase the new project by K-Rino and Climax. Tell your neighbor to go do it right now. This album is available right now on the SPC website, southparkcoalition.net. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, why did K-Rino wear yellow pants on this album cover? We ain't gonna start that up tonight. You got to be here last night to know the yellow pants joke. Okay, I see we done branched off. We might just need to do a whole live talking about what it means to be lost. So you can get good out of anything, man. Even when people try to be negative, you could take that and reverse it and turn it into something good. If you don't get emotional. See? Okay, you was born in Glasgow. Okay, that's what's up. You know, I did a show out there in 2014, huh? So the moral of the story is our greatest obstacles, y'all, are internal. They are not outside of ourselves. I know it seems like that sometimes. It seems like our biggest hurdles are the things outside. And there are hurdles outside or outside of us. But our biggest hurdles are internal. Things that we impose on ourselves. Thoughts that we allow to creep up in our own mind, and then we become consumed by those. Oh man. Self-doubt, repeated mistakes without adjusting or correcting those mistakes, fear, laziness, stubbornness, hard-headedness, lack of knowledge, blaming others, and making excuses. And not having God in your life. Appreciate that, Vashetta Entertainment. Thank you for the love and the blessing, man. The donation means the world. Appreciate that love. Hold on, man. Did y'all answer my question about the podcast? Who did not know that I had a podcast? Stay with me, Lord. If you didn't know, go subscribe right now. Underground Dialogue Podcast. Right now, we got 3 episodes up. Episode 4 dropping tomorrow. Want to shout out again to my brother Lil Mud, who we buried today. South Park legend, South Park OG. Just want to send a quick salute to my brother and his family. Yeah, man. R.I.P. to my brother Lil Mud. One of the realest ever. All right, man. Number love for y'all, man. It's your big brother K-Rino. Y'all continue to support the channel, this channel, and the podcast channel. And I will see y'all real soon. Peace and blessings, man.